Top 10 fascinating examples of cultural body modification. Number 10. Neck elongation. Neck elongation is the practice of placing neck rings around a woman's neck at various points throughout her life to achieve an ideal standard of beauty. Over time, they stack and create an illusion of a long neck. As they don't physically lengthen the neck, instead they push the clavicle and ribs down, making it look as if the neck is longer than it truly is. Over time, the rings weight twist the collarbone and upper ribs 45 degrees lower than where they would naturally be. Neck elongation is found in African and Asian cultures, though they are likely best known in the Kanlavi tribe in Myanmar. Kan girls wear brass collars as early as 2 to 5 years old. Over time, they add rings as the girl ages, creating the bone's deformity that results in the illusion of neck elongation. The practice was first discovered to the west by Marco Polo, who wrote about it in 1300 AD. The modification to the body is permanent, while removing the rings is possible. It can result in death if it done incorrectly. Simply removing them often causes pain, so for most women, the addition of rings is a permanent choice. Number 9. Lip plates. It's relatively common in the West to see people placing successfully large gouges in their earlobes to create large holes, but the practice isn't new. In some parts of Africa, increasingly larger discs made from clay or wood are placed into a pierced lower lip, sometimes upper, until a large lip plate can be worn. The practice was independently invented at least 6 times in Sudan, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Mesoamerica, and Ecuador, with Africans starting as far back as 8700 BC. The placement of lip plates continues in various places around the world, though it is most common in Ethiopia. The Mersey and Surma people who inhabit the lower Omo River Valley begin the process about 6 to 12 months before marriage. This is usually around the age of 15 to 18 when the lip is first pierced. At this time, a woman peg is inserted. Over time, the peg is replaced by larger pegs, and eventually, a plate is inserted in the hole. The size of the plate depends on any of several factors, though the largest one ever recorded in 2014 measured 23.4, which is 59.5 cm in circumference and 7.6, which means 19.5 cm wide. Number 8. Blackening and filling teeth. The Bagubo people of the southern Philippines in the Mindanao are an Asian tribe who have inhabited the region for centuries and is credited with bringing Hinduism to the area. While many members of the tribe have embraced modern life, some continue their traditional practices, including sharpening and blackening their teeth as a rite of passage for young Bagobo. When a Bagobo youth reaches the age of puberty, they have their teeth filled by placing their heads against the person carrying out the sharpening. They then bite down on a stick and the teeth are filled, leaving only the stump of the tooth ending in a sharp point. When the filling is completed, the teeth are then blackened to complete the process. To darken the teeth, powder created from a tree or black smoke passed through bamboo is applied to the teeth, which blackens them. To this process, the person having the treatment done is not allowed to drink any water, nor can they eat sour food. They are also prohibited from attending a funeral, so their less than pristine teeth don't cause offense. Number 7. Circumcision. These days, people don't often think about circumcision as anything more than a simple medical procedure. Still, the practice has a long history, and it was very much in more form of cultural body modification. Circumcision is a form of genital mutilation that involves removing the skin covering the tip of the penis. It's most commonly performed shortly after birth. In many hospitals through the West, it's common to circumcise a child without any cultural or religious stipulation. Despite this, the practice is deeply rooted in history and is being conducted by numerous cultures around the world. Circumcision and other forms of genital mutilation begin in Eastern Africa sometimes after 3000 BC. Early uses of circumcision likely centered around the fact that a man's foreskin is the location of the primary erogenous sensation. Removing it may have been seen as sacrifice of enjoyment in life for a potentially better afterlife. The ancient practice was carried into modern times via Jewish customs, which continue to conduct circumcisions on newborn boys, 8 days following birth. Judaism ascribes circumcision as a commandment honoring of the covenant between Abraham and God. Number 6. Scarification. One of the oldest known practices of body modification is tattooing. Still another similar process of creating images on the skin is called scarification. The process involves cutting, branding, scratching, or etching images into the skin. Doing so creates permanent scars in the desired image. The reasons someone might use scarification over tattooing are various, though there are several potential cultural reasons. They could be done as a rite of passage, for religious reasons, or for social reasons. In that respect, scarification is found more often in dark-skinned cultures, as the resulting images are easier to see than traditional tattoos. There are numerous cultures worldwide and throughout history that have utilized some form of scarification for various reasons. It is most commonly found in sub-Saharan Africa, West Africa, and East Africa, including the Gonja, Tiv, and Maasai people. Regardless of the method used, scarification is inherently more dangerous than tattooing. The skin is subjected to much larger trauma, and the risk of infection is substantially greater. Additionally, the process takes much longer than tattooing due to the need to heal between treatments. Number 5. Fingertip removal. There are several instances of fingertip removal across various cultures in history, with Yakuza members being one known to many around the world. Another culture that practiced removing portions of the finger is the secretive tribe of the Dani found deep in the jungles of Indonesia. Whenever a loved one dies, female members of the tribe have the upper half of their fingers amputated in a process called ikipilan. This is done as a part of ritual meant to ward off spirits. It is believed that removing the upper parts of the finger helps to keep the deceased person's restless spirit away from the family. Additionally, it is meant to be a symbol of the pain of bereavement, and it doesn't stop with adult women. In some cases, the mother will bite the tips of the finger of their own babies to have them take part in the practice. The Indonesian government banned fingertip removal, but members in Western New Guinea are believed to continue the practice. Older women are often found to be missing parts of their fingers, which suggests ikipilan continues in some areas of the country. Number 4. Genital beading. Genital beading or pearling is a form of body modification believed to have originated in Southern Asia sometimes in the early 1400th century. A more famous account of pearling came from members of the Yakuza who insert a single pearl for each year they are imprisoned. Pearling involves permanent inserting small beads beneath the skin of the genitals, most commonly done by men who insert pearls in the penis shaft. Historically, pearls were used in the practice, hence the name through any material can be used, including gold and ivory. In modern times, Teflon, surgical steel, titanium, and silicone are used, as they are the safest option for permanent insertion into the body. These days, it's common for Filipino sellers who largely do pearling to curry favor with prostitutes. Number 3. Female genital mutilation. While removal of the prepuce in boys only lessen their erogenous pleasure during sex, female genital mutilation aims to destroy it altogether. The practice involves the partial or complete removal of the clitoral hood, clitoral glands, inner and outer labia, and the vulval closure, leaving a small opening for the passage of urine and menstrual blood. While most people around the world consider female genital mutilation to be barbaric, that hasn't stopped it from being carried out an estimated 200 million women living in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. The practice began long ago, but the origins remain unknown. It is believed that female genital mutilation may have been practiced in ancient Egypt's Middle Kingdom period, which would set the custom as far back as 2050 BC. Evidence has been found in the hieroglyphics, though it hasn't been found on mummies from the period. It is known that Egypt continued the practice well into the 2nd and 3rd century. Pliny of Alexandria wrote that the Egyptians, by the custom of their country, circumcised the marriageable youth and made in the 14th of their age, when the male begins to get seed and the female to have a menstrual flow. Number 2. Foot binding. Foot binding is the Chinese custom of wrapping a young girl's feet tightly so that over time they change shape and size. The practice is believed to have originated among upper-class dancers in the 10th century, but became popular over time among the elite during the Song dynasty. By the Qing dynasty, the practice spread to all classes in China. When a woman's feet were bound in this manner, they were considered to be exhibiting a beauty standard called lotus feet. There were various means of carrying out the practice, but the end result was often the same. The feet were smaller and had the toes tucked unnaturally beneath the sole. The process began before the arch fully formed and could begin with girls as young as 4. They would begin in the winter months to take advantage of the cold numbing effect and soak the feet in a mixture of herbs and animal blood. The nails would then be cut back as far as possible, and bandages were used to tightly bind the feet until the toes broke. Once broken, the toes were held tightly against the foot sole, and the arch was then broken. The process was maintained and repeated for years until the foot's shape was completely altered. Fortunately, the practice concluded in the 20th century. Number 1. Head shaping. Head shaping or artificial cranial deformation is an ancient form of body modification that aimed to alter the skull's formation through flattening or binding. The practice could only be done before a child's fontanelle closing during the normal growth process. Head shaping predates written history, and several cultures around the world have been found to practice it. Evidence has found in proto-Neolithic humans bones dating as far back as 9000 BC. Where skulls have been found to be elongated to a near conical shape. The earliest written record of the process comes from Hippocrates' writing, who named the microphyly, which long heads meaning, as practitioners around 400 BC. In the Americas, the Maya and Incans reshaped their children's head, as did some Native American tribes in North America. People in France practiced head shaping until the late 19th century. They would bind an infant's head in a tight bandage, which was left in place for 2 to 4 months. The bandage was replaced with a fit basket, which would be strengthened as the child grew using mental threads. The Vanuatu people of Tongan Island continued head binding well into the 20th century, though the practice has widely been abandoned in the 21st century. Thanks for watching.